Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we're going to show you how we installed our solar panel on our Jeanneau 795NC. This will keep our two batteries charged at all times by the sun. So stay tuned. Alright guys, here are the things that I'm going to use for the solar panel installation. I have a roll of butyl tape that I've had since the old boat. This stuff is really awesome because you can use it just about anywhere. The next thing is what they call here cable entry gland. This thing here is going to make it easier to keep it weatherproof on the roof there, because these wires here will go through these little caps, and then you tighten them up and it seals from water getting inside the roof. And this is sealed all the way around as well with the butyl tape. And of course we're using some drill bits for the sizes of the screws we have, and of course a countersink. It's important to use a countersink, because if you do the hole and try to put the screw in without countersinking, you'll crack the fiberglass on the edge. So every time we do a hole, you countersink it, and then the screw goes in without cracking all the fiberglass or the gel coat. In this case here, we're using a dual battery controller. That's the same one we used on the old boat, and gives us the ability to charge two batteries with one solar panel at the same time. So this is the best thing that I've used on the other boat, and I'm hoping that this one will be an awesome one for this boat as well. Basically, you're going to use some screws, stainless steel, important stainless steel screws, some washers, and that's about it. I'll talk about this here. This is the wire that I'm using. It's a 10 gauge wire. I like to use 10 gauge. It's really good to have a little bit more than what you need. And in this case, one is black for negative, one is red for positive. Some of them come same color, black. I don't like to use that, because when you get to the battery, you want to know which is which, and once you get down there, it's difficult. So red one positive, black one negative, and that makes it easier for the installation. On the tip, we already have the connections for the solar panel. They already come done on there. And then you have separate connections for the other end if you needed it, but in this case we're not going to need it, because the other end of this wire is stripped and it's ready to go on the battery for the charging. So that's what we need here, and that is really it. So here we go with the installation. All right, so our boat roof has a higher side and a lower side. So what we did here, we put this bracket to be fastened on the lower side. That's why it has this space here, and then the other ones are going to be flush with the higher side, and you'll see that when I put it on the roof there. All right, so what we used here is a lock nut and stainless steel screws, and there's one there with a lock nut on the inside and a washer. Same thing on this edge right there. And you see this one here, that's the screw there, stainless steel. In this bracket, it's a 3-inch aluminum bracket, or angle in this case. This side is going to sit flush on the higher side of the roof. This side is going to be on the lower side of the roof. So everything is fastened with stainless steel screws, and now we're ready to go and put it on the roof and make the markings of these holes that we're going to do to tie it down to the roof itself. All right, so we are ready to install the solar panel on the hard roof of our new boat. And what we just did is we made a little mark right there. There's another one in here, right there, and then the third one right there. So we marked it already, so we're ready to do pilot holes, so we can put the screws in there with some sealant on the 3 points. But that's the only thing we're going to do, just 3 connections. One here with a aluminum angle, And same thing on this side, aluminum angle. And then on the other end, we're using the plate that comes with the panels. I had to buy those separate because some panels don't bring them, but we're ready to do the holes and tie it down in place. Then around here, we're going to make an opening to run the wires inside the chase that we have here, going through here, and then it'll go down that column right there. So here we go with the installation on the Jeanneau 795. Here, the main thing is you have to use a countersink on each hole before you put the screw in. Perfect. Alright, so here we have a piece of tape, and I added another piece of tape on top and middle where the screw is going to go through, so it seals that little hole. Plus I'm going to put a little piece on the hole itself, and this is the butyl tape, and it sticks pretty good, so it stays there. Same thing on this one, one strip and then a piece in the center to double it in the center where the screw is at. I'm going to do the same thing on this one here next. In each hole we're going to have a little bit of extra butyl tape on the hole there. I'm going to try to put some into the hole so it seals when we put the screws in. Same thing on the other two as well. So here we go. Here we took a small piece of the butyl tape and rolled it up into a little roll thin enough to get into the hole as far in as you can, and then the remainder just stays on the outside, so that way when you put the new bracket over it, it's going to adhere to the other side with the other butyl tape and seal the whole hole completely with no problems of water intrusion in the future. Alright, this is one of the good things about the Jeanneau. This speaker right here gives me access to this chase that goes side to side here. And the best thing of all, it's right here in the corner. This part here, this column, goes all the way down, and that's where we need to run the wires for the solar panel to the batteries. So we're going to take this off and get access inside here, so when we drill on top we can run the wires down here, and then from here we have to fish it down to the column. Okay, so after we screw down the solar panel to the holes we made earlier and made 2 more holes for the cable to go through the roof, we used a bit that is a little bit larger than the cable, so that way you can slip it in, but not too much larger, because you want them to be a little tight on those holes to prevent any moisture getting in if something really gets in the future. Okay, so what we did here, this is the connection gland. This little here, this nut here, we call it a gland. What you do is you turn it and it closes up to seal the wire. So you have to run the wire through the gland first and then into the hole that you did here, and you have to repeat the same thing with the black one now, and into that little hole there separately, and this whole thing goes right over that to cover those holes. And now we'll repeat the process with the black wire, running it into the chase. Once we finished, then we're ready to put the seal around the gland so we can stick it on top of the roof. All right there now, we're going to put some butyl tape all around those holes to seal them. And then we're going to put butyl tape all around this little edge here so it can seal on the top of the boat here. No water will come in through here or through the little seal on the outside. And of course, the glands here, once I tighten this up, it gets really stuck around the wire, and it closes in, so that way water won't come in through there either. So we'll have a nice, simple, easy, clean connection here without having a bunch of wires everywhere. Next, we're taking another small piece of the butyl tape, and we're going to go ahead and form it around the wire to seal the hole where the wire is coming in through. The good thing about using butyl tape is that you can form it any way you want to, as you can see coming up next. Next, I take a piece of the butyl tape and stick it around the edge of the gland. I'm now putting the final piece on the gland, and right after, we're going to stick it on top of the roof. And the good thing about this is you could put it anywhere with no problems and no screws. So no more holes than we need to drill on the top. After you apply the butyl tape to the gland, you're now ready to position it in over the two holes that goes through the roof, and press it down as much as you can to adhere to the roof. All right, we just finished the installation of the wire. We just ran it inside the raceway, inside here. And the gland, it's been tightened up so moisture won't go in through the wires here. And the butyl tape is already stuck to the top here. Make sure you press it down many times. Make sure that you see a little bit of the excess coming out from the edges, and press it down as many times as you can so it seals all the way around. Now I'm going to put a tie wrap on here on the wires to keep it in place, and then we're done with this side of the installation. The panel is in place, has the screws, 3-point, one there at the end, one this end, and one in the center there. And I think we're done, at least for this side. Okay, so we ran into a little issue here. We have the solar panel up here coming in through the roof in there, and then going down into that hole there. But the problem here is that if you go this way, there's no hole going down this column. It's completely sealed behind there. So there's no way to go down, which would have been the easiest way to get to the batteries, because the batteries are on that same side. So what we had to do is take off the light here and the other speaker on this side. And there is a chase going through that portion there. So what we did is we ran the wires from there to this little edge. We went through here, took it out from here, and then rerouted back in here and come out through here, which is what we have here right now, these two wires. So now in this side, which is the starboard side of the boat, this here has a chase that goes down into that column there and into the compartment down there where the batteries are at. Now the only problem is that we have to go down here and then go all the way to this side, to the port side, all right, under there where we have the two batteries which we want to put on the solar panel. Now we'll see if we have enough wire to do the whole thing. If not, we're gonna have to buy more wire to get to that point. But well, they really messed up, because it would have been nice if we had a chase going down that column there, which is perfect. But yeah, in the real world, nothing is perfect, so we have to do what we can with what we have. So here we go. All right, this part has been really difficult. Just to give you an update, from there we went through here into there. Here's the wire right here. Then from there we went in and came down here. We had to take off this panel for the lithium battery controls, right? That gave us enough space to be able to see in there. And then from there we fished down our green fishing line. From there down through there, we took this one off just to see if we can see anything in there, but this one didn't help too much. And then we finally got the lines inside there. Now the part from here to here, less than 5 minutes. From here down to there, about an hour, because we had to fish that flexible line and it would tangle up in there with other wires. We had to do it back and forth many times, up to about an hour worth of going back and forth, until we finally saw the wire under there, and I had to reach all the way in there and grab it and pull it down. Once we pulled the green one in there, we were able to put the wire on the other end and pull it down into that section there. Now this section here, once you're in here, it's the easiest part, because from here we just run the wire all the way on the edge and the inside there, and then go through there and then go to the batteries right there. So this is the easiest part. The hardest part has been this section here, from here down to the lazarette. The installation of the panel outside wasn't too difficult, was pretty intense because of the heat, the sun, and nothing other than that. It was easy there, easy to get it there, and easy to get it through here. 1 hour to get it into that position there. And it's getting close up there.
It is, but look at this, no tangle.
No tangle?
No tangle at all.
Yeah, finally. Because they had the tendency to ravel up.
Keep on. You have about 6 inches left. Okay, you're good.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay, excellent.
I wouldn't yank anymore.
That is excellent. All right, this is the controller we're using. And what I like about this controller, it's dual battery. And since we have 2 batteries, one here and one here, we want to be able to service those 2 batteries and charge them at the same time. So this controller right here has battery number 1, battery number 2, and in the center, the solar panel. Solar panel cables are these cables we just brought in from above, and we're going to go ahead and connect it on the solar panel center. But the first thing you have to do before you connect the solar panel here, you have to connect the batteries first, then the solar panel at the end, and then you'll see the marker here working and charging the batteries all at once. And that's something that's going to happen immediately. You'll see the lights turn on and everything. The next thing we have to do, once we have it on, we have to make sure we put it on the right setting for the type of battery that you have. If you have AGM, you're going to choose AGM on here. If you have flooded acid, you use that. Or if you have lithium, you use that as well. I think I have all three positions. So we're going to go ahead and find a place where we install this, and you want to put it somewhere where you can actually see it, so that way when you look at it, you know if it's charging, you know what's going on. I have to see where I can put it that I can see it working, and I don't know, for some reason I like this side better. What do you think, George?
I like it on this side. It actually looks good. You can run straight from there, the wire, from there
and then
to there.
from there the rest over here.
Yeah, I think that works.
Because this here,
oh, I don't like it because look at where the wire falls.
right there.
No, look at under where you got to do the connections. There's not enough space.
Oh yeah, under here.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So that makes it difficult. And down here, I don't want to put it too low, because if something happens and this floods with water, it'll reach that there.
I agree 100%. So I think the better place would be on this side.
On this side here, which is higher, and we have space to put the wires under it
I agree.
and tighten them up.
I agree.
So we're gonna choose this side here better. All right, perfect.
All right, let's figure it out.
All right, so since we got the wire in this place now, there's an opening down here. We're gonna run the wires through that opening. There's no need to make any holes, at least on this boat. So we just run it through here and pull it out from there. So just go ahead and run it completely. This whole thing is step by step. So once you get to one position, you have to run it to the other position and so on. Okay, here we go. Just watch that you don't get tangled with something else and break something or pull something out of place. And here we go. So now we have the wires here, just perfect. That is perfect. So we got them right here, is where we need it, and we still have extra wires for the batteries to hook up to the batteries. After marking the position of the solar charger, we are now ready to do pilot holes for the little screw. Okay, we have that in place. Okay, now that we have the holes in place, we're going to take it back off again so we can connect the wires under here. It's easier because you can see what you're doing, and then we'll go ahead and screw it back since we already have the holes done. So we're going to go ahead and connect this wire here that comes from the solar panel and connect this that comes from one of the batteries. So here we go. All right, guys, here's the additional item that I bought for this installation. We're gonna go ahead and use an inline fuse. Even though on the old boat we never had an inline fuse connecting from the battery to the rest of the connections here. And this is how it looks here when you buy them. And what you do is you just cut them in the center and then put one lead on one end of the wire and the other lead on the continuation that goes to the battery here on the bolt. So we're going to do that next, and then after we do that, we're ready to reinstall the controller, because we had too much wire here, so we're just cutting down the wire and just leaving the wire necessary here on this end here. This end goes on the battery post. We're going to cut right here in the middle. And then we're going to splice these two wires as well. I'm going to clean the tips here. Okay, this is the one with the plug. And strip this one as well here. Okay, and of course the fuse line goes into one side of this. The other side of the fuse line, we're going to have the post plug that goes on the battery. So we're going to go ahead and connect them all up with some waterproof connectors, and then we're done. Okay, we have the connector on one side already. We're just going to do the second side now. Alright, since we have a 20 amp system here, we're using 20 amp fuses. And just slip it in there, press it in, and there we go. And then the little cap back on. And that's all it is right there. And here we're ready to do the second battery now, so we're going to go ahead and install this on the second battery, same way we did on the first one here. So here we go. We have this one connected. Now we're going to do the second one right here. Okay, we now have both batteries connected. So let's go to the solar controller and see how that's working. All right, as you can see here, right in there, both of them are blinking. So that means that we have both battery connected and they're waiting for the next step, which is connecting the solar panel in the center part here. And the priority, as I mentioned before, this is the frequency that stays in 0, and then the battery type number 1, which is sealed, and then frequency is 5, which is 50-50 on each of the battery for the charging. And the battery type, it depends on the battery you have. You have to pick the one you have. I have a sealed battery on one side there, so I will use sealed. And now we're ready to connect the solar panel in the center. Okay, the first thing we're going to connect is the negative of the solar panel. And just go ahead and insert it in place in the negative side. Use a little screwdriver and tighten it up. Okay, that's in place there. And then I'm going to get the positive of the solar panel. I'm going to take off this little tape that I put on there to protect it from touching anything, because we do have charge coming in from the panel at the moment, because we have a pretty strong sun at the moment. So let's go ahead and wind that up, and here we go, connecting the solar panel last wire. Okay, so now the two flashing lights just turned into a solid light, meaning it's either charging or it's just on standby because it's probably full. Let's go ahead and tighten up the positive on the solar panel side of the controller. Nice and tight. Tighten them all up just to make sure they're all tight. One more, and that's it. Okay. Okay, so I'm done tightening up the screws. It's back in place. All we have to do is tidy up a little bit the wires here, pick up anything excess, put some tie wraps on them, make them nice and clean, and stay in its place there without hanging like this here. So we're gonna just put some tie wraps and tidy up on all. Now I had to come back and take off all this excess wire, otherwise all this wire is not good. So just use what you need, and maybe slightly a little bit more for future in case you need to cut an end or something, but no more, because the shorter these wires are, the better it is for the charging of the batteries from the solar panel. So this I'm just gonna discard, or actually put away in case we need them for something else in the future. But we're done. Okay, now if you notice, both of these lights are on fixed now. Before they were blinking, now they're fixed. I don't know if you can see them there. And we're gonna go ahead and check our battery charging app. We have everything connected here. We're gonna check the battery charging app and see how everything is doing now. So here we go. Battery number 1, 100%. It has a 13.67 volts coming in. And this one here, the second battery, has also 100%, and it has 13.24 volts coming in. So let's go to the first battery, which is number 1. We'll go directly, and let's go out of here, back here. There we go. Here's battery number 1. You see this little thing spinning? That means it's charging, and it says charging in green there as well. This is battery number 1. So now let's go to battery number 2. Okay, battery number 2. Okay, battery number 2 says 100%. There's 13.24 volts. It says battery okay in green. That one don't need any charge, so that's why it's not spinning. So this one is just on standby, and the other one is being charged completely. And then once the other one gets to 100, then the whole thing stops, and it trickle charges only when it needs it. When the battery needs to charge, it'll start charging while the sun is out. I think we're done. We have everything working perfectly, and I'm super happy because now I don't have to worry about these 2 batteries anymore, because the sun for free is getting it all charged every single day, keeping them at 100%. So right, also here's how you can tell that battery number 1, which is this one right here, it's blinking. That means that battery is being charged. The other one, number 2, is just solid green. That means that one doesn't need any charge. That's how you know by just looking here at this section. So everything looks a-okay, so we're good. All right, guys, we are completed. Everything is nice and tidy. Everything's in place. There's no mess anywhere. Everything's picked up perfectly. Batteries are charging, and another one is not, but everything is working perfectly so far. And I love the connection. I love the solar panel because I've had it for over 3 years on my old boat, and I never had a problem with batteries ever. And now I'm happy that I have it on here on the Jeanneau, and I'm expecting that this is going to be here for many years, working and charging the batteries, and I don't have to worry about batteries. I don't have to worry about anything else other than checking them once in a while to make sure they're all okay, and everything is in place there, and we're ready to hit the water this weekend at the sandbar. So guys, if you like this video, please don't forget to splash the like button, and if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe today. That'll help our channel grow, and we will love to have you as one of our fans. Thank you so much for your support, and we'll see you on the next one.